Stop the cap.
This is going to be, y'all keep taking me away from the videos I want to do. This is going to be part 3. Because I had to split up the other one. But, or not split it up, but the way I have it recorded. This is technically speaking part 3 of the big piece of the, what big piece of the pie are y'all talking about? But I let the shit swirl around in my head a little bit more. And for example, let's examine what Chrissy said about, black men haven't built anything and they haven't done this and they haven't done that, It was done 100 years ago. White people destroyed it, burned it down, still got their foot on black people's necks. Doesn't matter. It's still going to be seen as a failure, right? This is the whole thing about, patriarchy, right? Patriarchy, a failure is a failure. It doesn't matter, how you got there. A loss is a loss. A failure is a failure, right? And so when it comes to things like what this conversation is really all about, the lack of promotion, of black women, where are black boys supposed to get that training from? This is the part that always kills me with black women, where they think, they don't support the cultural aspects that would get them to the destination that they want to get to, because it's all attached to and it's a part of patriarchy. They completely ignore that when it comes to, why other races of women, receive certain things. Black women don't leave any room for male motivations, male arrogance, where men are smelling themselves. Let them smell themselves. But no, black women try to kill all of that because it establishes hierarchies. But I'm saying, in my mind, black male failure should end with whatever men are failing. It should end with that. What do I mean by that? Why are black women having babies? It seems like a simple question. But no, why are black women having babies if it's already identified that black men have failed or black men are failing? Why do the babies keep coming? Now, black women try to adjust and pivot, and they'll say, abort black boys or something like that. But the baby's still coming. The boys are still coming. They're still coming. Why are they still coming with men that have been identified as failures? Now, see, Chrissy can talk her shit because Chrissy doesn't have any babies. But Chrissy often talks with the forgetfulness that 61% of black women underneath the age of 50 are mothers. She talks with the forgetfulness, of that. Right? And the reason I ask this question is because when it comes to patriarchy, this is something that black women really just they don't value. They really don't value. They don't appreciate it. They literally think male responsibility is some innate reflex, that it's not taught and it's not trained. When I had a conversation with Chrissy, years ago, and we were talking about the military and Kat was bringing up, the shit that goes on in the military, ass cheeks to belly buttons, when they were trying to get them to stand in a single file line, crammed together, right? And when you go into the military, they essentially strip you of your individual identity to get you to function as a cohesive unit. That's why one of the reasons, aside from lice, one of the reasons why when you go into the military, first thing they do is shave your head. You are a number. You are private so-and-so, first class, and that is what you are. Last name, and whatever your rank is. They strip you down and then they build you back up to get you to fight as a cohesive, functioning unit. These are the concepts that women do not understand. They don't understand how grueling and ugly, that is. Everything from, the Agobi in the movie 300, where the 7-year-old boy is taken away from his mother and then, gone through the rite of passage to Native Americans and the Sundance, to, young men that join the Marines. Your son that may go into the Marines, at 18 years old, he's not going to be the same person when he comes out of the military 4 years from now. He's not. His whole the way of thinking is going to be much different. And I do believe that young men need that type of structure, in their life. I mean, if it wasn't for the, imperialist nature of the U.S. military and the way that black people are treated in the military, I would actually encourage black men to go into the military, in particularly those that haven't had, the proper guidance. I done went the wrong way. My brain is like working on autopilot, and I'm driving like I'm going somewhere that I'm not. That was weird. Driving with one half of my brain. Anyway, but this is something that women don't appreciate. They really don't appreciate, and they fuck up. Like what pisses me off with black women is they just want what they want at the 11th hour. It's 11:59. They don't support any of the aspects, any of the structure. They really don't understand it. And many of them probably don't understand it because, they didn't grow up in a patriarchy. They grew up in a matriarchy with matriarchal beliefs, and they really do see themselves as, the center, the center of the universe. And that, things that they have some sort of divine authority. Again, go back and listen to that, Don Nicoleon clip, or when Cap went up there on the Don Nicoleon show. What did I title that video? What did I title that video? Cap Fu, the Cap Fu series. Just type in Cap Fu in the little search engine in on my channel, and it'll come up. And listen to that shit. Listen to what they're talking about. I had the first say so and the last say so. Right? He assumes the position. He becomes king of the castle. Like Cap said, men do not become kings in other people's castles. What the fuck are you talking about? Just made up matriarchal shit that black men are supposed to operate in service to black women. But here's the problem with the matriarchy. The matriarchy fucks up because the problem with the matriarchy is that the matriarchy doesn't have any sort of training program, right? They don't have they don't. First of all, they don't care about what male motivations are. That's the first part. They really do not care. They're trying to get patriarchal results out of a matriarchal situation. But then the second thing is that they don't have the tools. They don't have the tools to equip these boys on, or even tell them what they need to do. They just expect it when they want it. This is the frustration I have when it comes to black women and boys. I mean, seriously speaking, ask a black man, how many times as a child did they hear that one of their duties is to elevate and promote the beauty of black women, like from the standpoint of controlling a media machine. There's certain things that, in my opinion, men do because it's a byproduct of patriarchy. It's a byproduct of that shit. But the black community doesn't have a patriarchy. Black women don't want a patriarchy. They'll say, "Oh, well, we don't know what it is." Oh, bullshit. Y'all actively avoid that shit. You actively avoid. You have ideas in your head of what patriarchy is. One of the main reasons you don't interracially date. Y'all be running around sitting there acting like black men are somehow twisting your arms, and that's the reason why, you don't interracially date, because we shame you out of interracially. No, many of you don't want to deal with Brad and deal with Brad's culture and deal with those patriarchal you try to pull half of the shit you pull in the black community, then white boys gonna look at you like, bitch, what the fuck are you doing? The fuck are you doing? Which is why, when we see these women go over the fence, it doesn't last. It fails. It fails. All these Janet Jackson, You know, who else went over there? Garcelle, Nylon. You know, y'all go over there and this shit doesn't. I'm like, yeah, because I'm pretty sure y'all go over there thinking that you're going to be, you know, a matriarch. You know what I mean? And somebody check on Eve, man. I don't know what the fuck is going on with Eve. You know, she playing the role, but, you know, it's like, I'm like, Eve, like, you know what I mean? Just throw up 3 fingers at the camera if you need help. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know what the fuck is going on with Eve and her shit. You know what I mean? She over there with Maximilian sitting at the damn table and shit like that, well, surrounded by all his white family and shit. She all, you know, pushed to the side and shit. I don't know what the fuck is going on with that shit. But truth is, a lot of y'all don't want to deal with that shit. You know, I'll have black women be like, black women's marriages to white men, you know, last longer than black men's marriages to white women. First off, there's way more black men that are married to white women, you know, as a sample size, than there are black women married to, you know, for example, white men. But the other thing is let's talk about all the black women that got kids by white men and they're not married to them. They didn't even go down the aisle, let alone let a relationship fail. Now, we don't know what that number is, you know, but that probably contributes to, you know, some of the parental gaps between black men and black women. Going back to what BGS said, but the issue I have with that is that BGS doesn't have any numbers. He just says it, but doesn't have any numbers. And I'm like, where are the receipts, nigga? But yeah, there's no training in the matriarchy for black boys to live up to any of these responsibilities. There's none of it. Not only do the women not know how to teach the boys how to do the things that they want and the things that they like, and they ignore all the motivations, you know, that men have, you know, their own personal motivation. You know, this is one of the reasons why you end up with black, you know, men and boys that end up, you know, they're licking their lips, looking at over the fence, looking at other races of women, because there is a reward system there. If you're a black man and you can secure gainful employment, why do you think the white boys are racist and discriminatory, you know, when it comes to the hiring practices and shit like that? They already feel insecure about, you know, black men and their riz and their charisma and their builds and their bodies and all this. They already feel that way. So they're like, oh my God, if a nigga got money, I'm just defeated. You know what I mean? Like, again, go through all your white supremacists. Your fucking, your Tucker Carlsons, your Richard Spencers, your Jared Taylors, your who's the other one? Your Charlie Kirks and shit. Your What If Alt Histories. Look at them. Do they look like masculine, testosterone-filled white guys? Hell, you can throw Ben Shapiro in there. No, these are the dweebs, the nerds. That's why they're always running around screaming about high IQs. That's why they're always running around talking about high IQs. You know what I mean? They don't even take the approach of like Rich Cooper and, pick heavy shit up and put it down, right? They don't do that. They just go up there and talk about white nationalism from a purely intellectual standpoint, completely ignoring, that women still have primitive motivations. Women are still going to go for the tallest guy. I don't care what they say. Women are still going to go for the man that, has a full beard and, has a, what did Rich used to say? A strong masculine presence. A man with a strong masculine presence. And none of these, white nationalists, white supremacists, Thomas Russo, that's another one. These are all small framed guys that went the white nationalist route. None of them. I'm like, where are these fucking Viking looking motherfuckers? Y'all don't have none of them. The pagans got some actual warrior looking white supremacists, not the biker gang, but like the white guys that at least subscribe to the pagan shit. I only know two of them. There was a guy at my gym. I can't even say he was a white supremacist. He looked like a white supremacist. He had the fucking runes tattooed on the side of his head and shit. He was an intimidating looking ass white dude. I had to give it to him. He was big. He had muscles. Them white boys with them, their calves as big as shit, even in some Vans. You know what I'm saying? Some white Vans, calves big as shit and whatnot. I'm like, this motherfucker had to play football or something because the way he work out, he's on some Viking routine type of shit. But that's not what you see when you look at these white nationalists. You see scrawny, dweeby, guys that don't work out, just, my IQs, that's all you see. But yeah, the black women, there's no training program for these young men, to get the outcome that they claim, that they want. And personally, I just think it's a busy assignment. Again, they don't want to follow the program. They don't want to get with the program. It's the same thing as when it comes to when LGBTQ comes around. And I'm a heteronormative cisgender black man. When LGBTQ comes around, you know what I say to myself? I'm like, I'm just not going to participate. I'm not going to participate. So, and that's the whole thing, not giving them the recognition. But here's the funny part. That's exactly what black women do. What black women do is they don't participate. When it comes to patriarchy, when it comes to a black man individually, successful doing his thing, no, they avoid him because of the power dynamic. The same shit that you hear coming out of Ebony K. Williams' mouth. They don't like the power dynamic. So, they just go fucking rogue and shit. You see, and then try to make it about, collectively, you're not doing X, Y, and Z and da-da-da-da-da. So you never get to a starting point where these women get with the guys, even when chosen, get with the guys and stay with the guy that actually has, the sort of, the mentality, ideas of manhood training that he would pass on to his son. These women don't get with those guys. They get with guys because they just want to have a baby, whatever stupid reason. Like Six the Goddess said, they're competing with another woman. They'll have a baby by a guy. They're fucking cheated on them just to get back at the other bitch. And then many of these women will have sons. And again, in raising these black boys, the women, they overlook a whole bunch of shit. They got their own feminist, mentality. The boy is not getting, there's no conversation about you need to win a race war. The black women are not having those conversations. Just as, back in the 90s, it was, I'm looking for a BMW, a black man working. That's what they were saying. It was not, you must win a race war. That only came up That only came up, controlling the economic landscape of the community, which black men should be doing. But that only came up because black men came online, the millennials, the newer generation at the time, they came online and we were talking about submission. We were asked questions about why y'all interracially dating? Why are you fucking with that white girl? Why are you this? Why are you that? Well, they're easier to deal with. They're more cooperative. You know what I mean? They don't give us the hassle and everything. That's because you're weak and you can't handle a strong black woman. That was the response. You can't handle a strong black woman. And I was like, damn, why do I got to handle you like you're a wild caged animal? Why do I got to fight with you every day? I got to fight with the world. I got to fight with white supremacy. And I got to come home with you and fight you? For what? 30 seconds of quote unquote submission? You're being defiant just to be defiant. And it is fucked up. Like there's women, like, they really don't know what they're doing wrong because they grew up, without fathers being involved. They grew up without seeing, a patriarchal structure. And look at what they don't know. So when it comes to the boys and you're growing up in the matriarchy, what is it that the boys don't know? And again, I got a serious problem with boys being raised by women and women not even mentioning the things that they want or the things that they like. You know what I mean? It's kind of like the way, like, a black woman may like a man that's muscular, but she doesn't know how to get there. She doesn't know what weights to lift and what training to do. She doesn't know. She just knows that, she likes a man that is built a certain way, got, strong, shoulders and arms and triceps and a wide back and all that. She just knows, hey, that looks good. Same thing with black men. I don't know shit about makeup and blending. The first time I seen a black woman, put on makeup, I was horrified. All that shit, all the, putting I'm like, how does that doesn't even match your skin tone. And, she putting this streak down the middle of her nose and then, putting streaks on her cheek and shit like that. And then wait a minute, and then you take this other color and then you blend it all together and shit like that. I'm like, oh, I didn't know it was all that elaborate. Ooh, I kind of don't like all that, Like, and it's like, yeah, but you like the way it looks, nigga. I'm like, yeah, I do like, I'm not into the foundation shit, but I do like eye makeup. I love a bitch with some eye makeup, mascara, eyeliner, eyeshadow. It's feminine to me. Oh, I love me a fucking black chick with slamming makeup. And then notice how rarely you see that. A lot of black women don't wear eye makeup. They be out here, natural and shit. And they're like, why am I not being chosen? Because you look basic as hell, bitch. You look like you rolled out of bed and you just think that it's like that a black woman is just supposed to be walking around looking like a whole nigga. You know what I'm saying? That's like, because that's what a lot of y'all look like when you ain't got no makeup on. A lot of y'all look like niggas. I'm just going to say it. That's what y'all look like. Y'all look like dudes. You know what I mean? I'm like, nah, you got to have something soften the shit up. Y'all just be rolling out of bed and shit like that and act like because your hair is longer than the average black man that you're just naturally beautiful like that. I'm like, nah, some of y'all need some work. Some of y'all need something to make y'all feminine. It's like when you get these women with these pixie cuts and shit like that. You know what I mean? It takes a real feminine woman, and you gotta have the right shaped head and the right shaped face in order to do the pixie cut. Pixie cut is not for everybody. You know what I mean? Just like a bald head is not for every black man. If you got a funky shaped head, you know what I mean? If you got a head that's shaped like you had some hydrocephalus or some shit like that, nah, you don't be doing no bald head, man. We need to, do something. Like, y'all seen that clip with that, what is he? Is he like Haitian or African? He was on the show. He was wearing a bandana. Man, he took his bandana off. All I was thinking of is all the shit that Tariq be talking about with tethers and foreheads and shit. He took that bandana off, and it was just all forehead. He was like, come on, bro. Because they started just cracking up like, damn, nigga. Like, I didn't know that your forehead was, no wonder you wearing that bandana trying to make it look like, it's stylish. I mean, it's sad because ain't nothing he could do, but goddamn, that nigga had a big ass fucking forehead. But I'm just saying, when it comes to men, same thing. Like, I don't know anything about how to put makeup on. If I had a daughter, I couldn't help her. You know what I mean? But the thing is I want my daughter. I don't want people saying my daughter's unattractive if I ever had a daughter, or saying that she's ugly. So how would I mitigate that? Right? How would I prevent my daughter from being told that she's ugly? I better get with a woman that has some femininity about her and can teach my daughter things about femininity, right? I deal with the boys, you deal with the girls. I teach the boys, things like, I don't know, firearms training. Teach the boys when to fight, when to back down, things like that, right? How to work with other black men, right? Understanding the ranking system amongst black men and respectability politics when it comes to, dealing and interacting with other black men, right? Understanding the difference between, black men that are in the streets and black men that you can trust and rely on and shit like that, right? A woman can't navigate that territory. I like what Six said. When she said, she was like, no, if I come across a black man that other black men don't respect, I can't fuck with you. I'm not a woman. I'm not going to go and try to dive into the ranking system of how men rank each other. She doesn't need to understand that as a woman. What she understands is I can look to other men and recognize whether this is somebody that I can trust or somebody that I can respect. Because if they don't fuck with them, I shouldn't be fucking with them. You see? So when it comes to, for example, wanting to have an attractive daughter, well, I need to get with a woman that, is feminine, does makeup, does hair, you know what I mean? Can give, my hypothetical daughter, tips on how to be feminine, how to match clothes. I don't know shit about that. You know what I'm saying? Like things like the women will say, like, if you're a big breasted woman, you can show your breasts, but be covered up everywhere else. You know what I'm saying? Or if you want to show your legs, then cover up the breasts. Otherwise you're doing too much. Little tiny, less is more type of politics, right? I've heard things over the years, and I could possibly say a few things, but it's based off of what I heard from other women. You know what I'm saying? But when it comes to black women and their sons, man, y'all be fucking up. You go out here and you get a man because you big dicks and swag or some other bullshit. You know what I mean? The man is not invested. He's never demonstrated an ounce of leadership or anything like that. He hasn't done anything, that really, shows him to be a strong man. That's a type that's going to go out here and put some shit together for the community. And y'all will have babies by that nigga. You will have babies by that nigga. Then the boy is growing up. He can't get the instruction from you because you're a woman. You don't know what the fuck is going on as it pertains to, how to get him to be the type of man, that you want him to be. You don't even think about, the course of development, the training, none of that. So you go and you got and produced a child with a man that he ain't doing shit. Then you got sons. They have no fucking blueprint. And then here you come at the 11th hour. Y'all black men don't build. Did you get with a builder? Did you procreate with a builder? Did you procreate with a man that even remotely has the potential of being a builder? No. Okay. Well, that's the end of the conversation. That's the end of the conversation. I ain't got nothing to discuss. You out here giving immortality and producing children with men that have no transferable skills. And then you're sitting there wondering, oh, why did the community look the way that it looks? I'll be the first one to admit, it's not just white supremacy. It's also the black women's mate selection. Chrissy is childless. I can't put what mothers are doing on Chrissy. But Chrissy needs to acknowledge, yo, what the fuck are you doing, bitch? You know what I mean? Same thing with me, right? I don't have any kids, right? I live by the code of discipline. I live by that. But if a woman goes out here and then she has a babies by a motherfucker, I know a chick right now. She has 2 kids by 2 different men. Okay? She got pregnant when she was, I think, 20. Okay? And what got me, what it wasn't even the fact that she has 2 kids by 2 different men. That's not, I was so trying to keep a straight face when she said this to me. But it's the fact that her second baby daddy doesn't even have a car. Because we were talking about the mentorship of her son, and she was like, well, I would have to go up to see him in order to get my son to see him because he doesn't have a. I'm like, so let me get this right. This is my brain. This is the voice in the back of my head. I'm like, so let me get this right. You had a baby by a nigga that doesn't even have a car. You had a whole baby by a nigga that doesn't even have a car. Your feet were to the fucking ceiling by a nigga that doesn't even have a car. And you got women online talking about how much dust is in the air. But you had a baby by a nigga that didn't even have a car. Like, I'm still fucked up about that. Like, mentally. I'm still like, you gotta be kidding me. Like, this is insane. How do you have a baby by a dude that doesn't even have a car? Like, where does anything take place? It all takes place on your turf? And why would you have a baby? Like, did you ever consider, like, what your son needs? Did you ever consider the guidance in you? Did you ever consider the fact that one day your son is going to wake up one day and then be like, if he even remotely hears that his father didn't have a car, he's going to look at you like, bitch, what the fuck were you on? So you mean that I had to start my life at -5 with a single mom because not only did you have, you had the first child with another man, and then that didn't work out. But then you went and you had me underneath the circumstances of a dude that didn't have a car. So, like, where would I get guidance from a man that would bring a child into the world without having a vehicle? And I'm not just talking about freaking, New York City. This person lives in North Jersey. This ain't New York, because I know a lot of people in New York don't have a car because New York has a robust, transportation system in the subway and fucking cabs and shit like that, or Uber and Lyft or whatever they got. No. We're not talking about a city of 11 million people. We're talking about free parking damn near everywhere in the state, except for maybe like Bergen County or some shit like that. So it's like y'all talk all this shit about, oh, y'all niggas failed and everything. You know what I mean? But your mate selection is trash. And where is the black female discipline? So, okay, black men are fucked up and this, that, and third, and then you're going to say, well, we had no choice but the men that are just shitty, and that's our selection. So so let me get this right. You're smart enough to identify that the black community isn't built. See, first off, I think it's bullshit. I think your complaint is bullshit. I think the vast majority of you don't care about that. It's just a slam card that you throw on the table. It's a busy assignment. You don't support it culturally. You don't support it idealistically. You don't support black patriarchy. You don't. You know what I mean? So it's just some shit that you throw up on the table. But what I would expect to see is black women saying, no, all y'all niggas is dust. There's a pussy moratorium going on right now. Ain't no babies gonna be born until y'all niggas get it together. I would have so much respect for black women if that's what they were doing, but that's not what y'all do. That's not what y'all do. Y'all go out there and you will get with the dustiest nigga just so that you can say that he's dusty and you're not. Or that he's dustier than you are. Y'all will go out there and do that type of shit and act like it gets you off the hook. I can acknowledge that where the black community is, right now is a failure. It's a failure. But how much did you contribute to that failure with just simply bringing in more children into the world that have fathers that are either absent, have never demonstrated any ounce of male leadership or responsibility, right? Or have no transferable skills. Why are you getting with men that have no transferable skills? Why are you giving them access to your womb? Then you turn around and complain, oh, the community is fucked up. Oh, this fucked up. Y'all, these niggas are okay. You know, that's the one area where when it comes to Chrissy, you know what I mean? Chrissy as much as I don't like it, and I think Chrissy's full of shit, you know, because she just wants to take a stab or a jab, you know, at black men. I'm like, I can tolerate hearing that from Chrissy because Chrissy don't got no goddamn kids. Chrissy ain't bringing no children into the world in a dusty situation while complaining about dusty situations or dusty men. She ain't doing that. But all you other bitches out here, fuck y'all. Fuck y'all. Because y'all went out here and got with men that just, ain't got nothing going on. And then you'll hop in that relationship fails. Then you'll hop online and start talking about, yeah, these men, they fail and they ain't building nothing. Yeah. But you got a whole child. And you talking about this shit. Just a whole after the fact. That shit burns me up. I'm like, oh, black men don't have skills. Did you even get with a man that can teach those skills? Did you get with a man with any transferable skills? These black men, they don't know how to build. Did you procreate with a builder? What what made you, if you can identify that, which again, I think you all are full of shit. It's a slam card. It's not something that you actually truly believe. Because I'm like, because you got to look at how bad you look when you see ignorant people get a pass from me. When you don't know some shit, you get a pass from me. Because I'm like, hey, you didn't know. You were unaware. But when you are aware and you say, oh, I've been known this. That's why we better than niggas. Because I've been known that the community's fucked. And you still went forward and had children under these circumstances with a group of men that you have already identified ain't shit, ain't building nothing, bitch, you on bullshit. You're full of shit. Do you understand how bad that makes you look? It's like what I say about the Afrocentric, pro-blackity black folk that always talk about the white man and white supremacy and he racist and they coming to get you in the big white boogeyman. And they found black people hanging in a tree in New Mexico and Arkansas and it's so racist and the black student in Texas, oh man, they had him, he was swinging from a tree, oh man, and the white people, they out to get us, and black people, what is we gonna do? Then as soon as I get into talking about the Second Amendment, oh no, I don't know about them. Motherfucker, you just got finished saying that we're under siege. You just got finished saying we're under attack, right? I'm like, why wouldn't black people want to defend themselves? Why isn't that something that you're advocating for, right? If you're so concerned about white on black violence, right, then why don't you advocate for the Second Amendment? Right? And I'm looking at black women the same way. Okay, if black men are out here and they just so fucked up, right? We should just see nothing but black women talking about swirling. That's what we should see. But the truth is most of the swirlers already got babies. They're already mothers. And that's why they so mad, because their relationship failed. And had their relationship not failed, they wouldn't be talking the shit that they're talking. It's all conditional. It's all circumstantial. That's what I see. That's what I witness. So, the whole thing is just bullshit to me. It's bullshit to me. I'm like, you all are not. This is a byproduct of the continuation of, y'all think it's inconsequential because y'all really do believe that you're better than black men. You really believe that black men are supposed to minimally operate in service to you. You really don't want black men to be ahead of you and in these in certain positions and whatnot. But the reality is the outcomes that you're looking for only come from black men being in those positions. They only come from that. Again, I'm not the one that made the video talking about, Keke Palmer and how Keke Palmer was trying to be the star in the relationship. Chrissy made that video. She made that video of women dating down and shit like that. But see, when she gets into I want to slam black men mode, she be sweeping that shit to the side and then start talking about, black men, they don't build, they don't this, that, and the third. I'm like, Chrissy, you still got a problem with women who go out here and have babies by men that don't got it together. You know, black people just, just recklessly popping out babies with no plan. You know what I mean? No concept of moving things forward in a particular, way or timely fashion. Just none of that. None of that. So, it just, the way that black women disconnect when it comes to that just drives me up a wall. Cause I've seen y'all do this shit. I've seen y'all have babies by men that literally have nothing to offer because you just want a baby. And there's so many of you all doing that shit. Then when it comes down to, the fruits of nothing, you know what I mean? Like you didn't plant the seed. You didn't get with the right guy. You know what I mean? You're not even making other young men feel some type of way like, damn, I got to get my shit together in order to get with her. And then you got all the other stuff where, y'all not offering anything in terms of what men even like or appreciate. You don't even want to do those things. So the sad part is where we are right now. Like, yeah, a lot of young black men, they're like, black women, please. There's nothing in there that I want. They got a disrespectful disposition towards black men. You know what I mean? They got bad attitudes. Many of them don't work out. They overweight. No, I'm good. That's not motivating. That doesn't make me motivated, to want to fucking, I want to get my shit together and have this and have that. But that shit does not make me motivated to want to go out there. What do you want to call it? Make me motivated to, go out there and get your shit together and then deal with a sister. No, that the part of the problem, what's going on right now, going back to even Dr. T. Johnson's son, is these young men, they're focused outward. They're like, yeah, let me get my shit together so I can go and date these other women, where there's, a cultural, robust reward system. The black community is way too deep in the trenches with the matriarchy. Again, go back to that 1986 PBS special. Black men are not substantial to the family. And again, looking at younger generations, they don't have nothing to do with that. There are boys that grow up, you know what I mean, and they live in a world that is overall patriarchal. And when they look outside, they're like, hey, if I do this, I do that, then the woman's going to get with this or get with that. Right? Even with the most feminist women, they want to date up. Every woman wants to date up. They just don't like the power dynamic. They don't like what comes with dating a man that's ahead of them. The arrogance, the my way or the highway, right? The dependency. They don't like any of that stuff, but they want to have the option of, I should have the option to be a stay-at-home mom. I should have the option to be a woman of leisure. I should have the option. I'm like, well, you only get the option if the man is ahead of you. I don't understand. Like, again, there's, what is it? What is Thomas Sowell? What's his phrase? There's no, what is his phrase? Let me pull it up again. Thomas Sowell, there are no, only trade-offs. I always get his quote wrong. What's the phrase? Hold on. There are no solutions, only trade-offs. There it is. There are no solutions, only trade-offs. You're not going to get every fucking thing. You're not going to get a man that's blowing you out the water and then he's going to bendeth thy knee and submit to you. That's not going to happen. I don't know where black women get this idea, but, again, from feminism, You know, they want black men to operate in their service. The shit is fucked. I mean, you know, to a great deal, I think it's too far gone because these belief systems are really entrenched in the black community. But black women, that pisses me off about them is they just want outcomes. They want outcomes, but they don't. When it comes to the sort of the cultural investment, the cultural support, the them staying in their lane. You know what I mean? When you have men that are giving manhood training, you know what I mean? That right now we gotta have men that are not biological fathers come in and mentor all these boys to get them on track. You know, that's what we have. You know, the damn, you know, the task that we have, you know, before us. Because that's the only way it's going to turn around. It's not going to turn around any other way. It's not. It's not going to turn around any other way. We have to have men that come in and mentor these boys. You know, and that's a tall order. That's because boys should be getting mentored by who? Their own biological fathers. But again, you know, if black, what is it? 59% of black women, according to Cassandra Doris, kids with more than one man. You know, a man can only be in 46% of black men are fathers, while 54% are childless. 61% of black women are mothers. You know what I'm saying? So what do you end up with? You end up with this gender imbalance. You know, where you don't even have enough biological fathers to be mentors to their direct biological sons, or these women, the whole split household thing. You know, like this shit that with Cardi B and Offset and whatnot. You know, it's like, I'm like, why y'all be having kids with men that already have kids? Like how, like he can only be in one place at one time. So you're literally stealing that time away from your male child or even your female child, your daughter. You're stealing that time away because now you got a black man that's got to split himself between house A and house B. That's how crazy it is. Again, you know, there's more black mothers in the black community. Black women have more children than black men do. And there's more black women that have kids split between multiple men than black men split between multiple women. You know, the majority of black men are childless. At any given time, if you take a snapshot of the black community, the majority of black men are childless. You know, so it's so when like the women jump up and down and they start, oh, the black men and da-da-da-da, most of us don't even have kids. We're not even in the game. We're not even in the game. But y'all just continue, you know, y'all just, when can we get underway, damn it? Y'all just marching forward. And then you create more problems with your lack of sexual discipline. And then you sit there and you bitch about the outcome. And then you say, oh, it's because the black men failed. I'm like, you don't think your lack of sexual discipline has anything to do with it? The way that you bring these boys into the world, that has nothing to do with it? You know what I'm saying? I remember seeing students in Philadelphia, middle of winter time, doubled up hoodies. Why? Because they didn't have a winter jacket. Why the fuck is your son out here without a winter jacket or without boots, proper snow boots? Why the fuck are they out? Why would you bring a child into the world underneath those circumstances? Why? Tell me. Tell me, to make up a reason why Cynthia G had Rob's baby when he already had like 5 children by somebody else. Make up a reason. Give me a reason. Make up a reason why Sierra went off and had a baby with Future when he had like 4 baby mamas or something at the time. Why? Just make up a reason. Give me a reason. This shit is cultural. You know, and when it comes to women and how they have babies, you know, like there's certain shit I just don't want to hear, man. You know, especially, you know, oh, we doing it because, you know, the community is broken. And then I go over there and listen to Six, and then Six be spilling all the tea. She was like, no, these women have babies for the stupidest reasons ever. They'll have babies because their friend got pregnant. They'll have babies because they're fighting over a nigga that, again, cheated on her with, and she wants to get back at the other bitch like, okay, bitch, yeah, okay, so what? You fucked him, but I'm having his baby. Stupid, pure retarded reasons. And then you get boys that grow up in that, and then they come out, you know, again, there's no resources, there's no structure. They come out, you know, just angry black boys that turn into these fucking YNs, and then black women like, oh, see the black man, he failed. The black community is broken. Oh my God. And I'm like, and you know what? You're 50% of the community. You're more than 50% of the community. You don't have nothing to do with that. You don't have nothing to do with that. All these fucking matriarchal, y'all have nothing to, man, get the fuck out of my face with that bullshit. Get out of my face. The way that black women bring children into the world is absolutely atrocious. It's atrocious. You know, and, you know, when it comes to the black men that are, you know, contributing to that, I don't have anything good to say about them. But I can't stop them from having, you know, sex with these women beyond blowing them the fuck away. And we can't do that, right? You know, y'all choose these deadbeats. Y'all choose these men that are not invested in shit, and you make them fathers. You allow that shit to happen. Feet to the air. It's retarded. It's absolutely retarded. And then y'all want to come online and complain about the outcome. I just sit there and look at y'all. You know, like that, like the fucking audacity of you all to come online and talk about the community ain't nobody building. Did you get with a builder? Did you get with a builder? Anyway, that's my video. SWP out. Don't forget to comment, share, like, and subscribe.
On the scene, diamond blingy, whole screen. Checkerboard, Louis V. I'm so fresh and so clean. Stuff them bands in my jeans, slap them 30s in them things. Pull the trigger, let it sing. Then go smoke a Russian cream.
Boo, hold on.
Yeah.
Hello?
We ain't.
Where we at? Oh, you want to know where I'm at? We outside!